Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. See ebaymotors.com.
Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Jello Jiggling podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Ward. Right out the gate, just want to say, damn, D-Lo. Damn. What an impressive performance by that kid. I got a long history with D-Lo, nothing like personal, but like I saw him his rookie year and then him coming up, covered him closely, while covering games in the locker room and all that, in his first stint with the Lakers. And I wasn't very impressed, and neither was anybody else. Tons of talent, all the talent in the world, incredible passer, great scorer and all that. But when he came in, he was super immature. I mean, super immature. That's what is going to lead me to this story that I'll just never forget. And it was just more of an observation than anything that really happened. It was I think it was the 2016-17 season. So the year after Kobe retired. And, the Lakers didn't really know where the hell they were going to go from there. Cause I mean, they just had a bunch of young guys and a couple vets like Nick Young and Metta World Peace and Lou Williams. So they were going nowhere. Right? It was a rebuilding process. It was the beginning of a rebuilding process. And D-Lo was an important part because they used the second round pick or a second overall pick on him, just like they did with Brandon Ingram. So they had a lot of hope that he would be kind of the next guy, or if not, sidekick to Brandon Ingram being the next guy. But anyway, that season, things kind of, obviously went the wrong way for him because the whole scandal with Nick Young and, leaking that video and stuff. And he kind of betrayed the trust of his teammates and Nick Young, obviously, but just doing something stupid. It's just, he was a kid. I mean, I think a lot of people don't realize when they watch these athletes, how young they really are. And then compare your time at, say, 19, 20 to them in 1920. Picture you with millions of dollars and women all over you all the time and anything that you want, you can get at 19 and 20. I mean, it's a little ridiculous. And they're kind of set up for failure, a lot of these kids, I think, and especially if they don't have the right people around them. And I don't think D-Lo did at that time. So he was just kind of messing around and, trying to, be funny guy all the time. And no one really took him seriously. And I remember toward the end of that season, one game in particular, I think he just went on that, I don't even know. I can't remember the name of that show. It's a really popular one with the Hot Wings. People, celebrities go on there, movie stars, athletes, or whatever, and they eat like these hot wings, and it levels up in terms of heat as it goes on. And he went on there, so I think he kind of thought he was a big star. And so I remember this one time in the locker room in particular. It was after a game, they got crushed by somebody. Everybody was down, like nobody really wanted to talk. You could hear a pin drop in the locker room, and that rarely happens. Well, these days it rarely happens, but back then, I mean, it was fairly common. But even more so with him, because it seemed like the Lakers at the time had one mindset, and he had a completely different one. He wasn't taking things seriously, and the other guys were just kind of getting sick of his act. I mean, I'm just taking this as, somebody that was observing everything. And I remember it's one time in particular where, standing around him in his locker, and he just keeps cracking like the same joke over and over again. Cause I guess he get a laugh at one time, but and you could just hear nothing. Like his teammates were so tired of him that they just didn't even acknowledge his voice. Right. And I don't remember who was around. It might have been Randall. It was, I mean, you look back at it now and that roster, every guy on there, or the key players, they went on to do some good things. You got Clarkson went on to be sixth man of the year and one of the best bench scorers in the league. Brandon Ingram went on to lead his own franchise in New Orleans, and is arguably one of the best players in the league. I wouldn't put him like top tier, but he's very talented, right? Larry Nance Jr., one of the best role players in the league, I'd say. That's one of the guys that I was really disappointed that got moved, because I thought he was a real glue guy. Randall, obviously, going on to eventually have success with the Knicks, become a legit star, and Zubac, who has been the starting center for the Clippers for years now, after that dumb trade that Magic Johnson made for, what was it, Missoula? No, not Missoula. Damn it, he just got bought out too. He's a shooter. Muscala. That's it. Muscala. And everybody's like, what the hell are they doing? Like, Zubac is a legit good player, and he's going to be for a long time, and he's proven that across the hall, unfortunately. Anyway, everybody could tell it was over. D'Lo was going to be gone at some point. They didn't care that they had already spent a second round pick, or I keep saying that, the number 2 overall pick. They're just like, okay, we're done. We're done. This kid's not taking anything seriously. He's immature. Let's get rid of him. He's not the leader that we thought. And they did. I think they traded him for Brook Lopez and a pick. I think that pick turned out to be Kyle Kuzma, if I remember that correctly, which worked out for the Lakers in a sense. But in this second go round, I see a completely different guy. I mean, it's unrecognizable, really. He is totally matured. Doesn't do anything goofy or stupid anymore, or he seems to be more personable. Like, him and Austin Reeves are inseparable. Great friends. He's really impressed me. He really, I mean, and I was saying, this part of the season is going to determine his future, right? Either here, I mean, the guy's always going to have a job. He's that talented, right? But in terms of being here, that's the big question mark. Do you want him around? Is he that third star? And at this point, it's looking like it. Like dropping 44 against the Bucks in LA without LeBron and a banged up AD. That is impressive. I mean, I think he went, hit 9 threes, like 9 out of 12, something like that. I mean, he was just solid. And they looked to him at the end of the game. He hits the floater down the middle, clutch, And then Dinwiddie, I got to give props to Dinwiddie too on the other end, blocking Damian Lillard's attempt at I think he's a game tying or game winning shot. Either way, clutch, very clutch. I think Dinwiddie's in kind of accepting his role as a role player, not a traditional scorer, I guess, as you would class him before he got here. But I mean, in terms of D'Lo, and it really hit me when I heard his quote after the game. I mean, I was like, immediately I had Kobe vibes. I'm not comparing him to Kobe; he's nowhere near Kobe, but it was, the mentality was similar, right? I was like, wow, this kid is really coming on, and he's embracing it, and he's going with the right mentality moving forward. The quote was, "Public humiliation," which was the Nick Young incident, "has molded me into a killer that you all see today. I never lack confidence. I never fear confrontation. I want all the smoke." And I was like, good for you, dude. Good for you. I remember I quote tweeted Lakers Nation saying, "I fucking love this." And I did. And I do. And I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for this kid, because this is, it's a classic redemption story. He's proven himself to the team that cast him off when he was really young and immature, and they lost hope in him. And now he's a stud, a bona fide stud. He'll never get to that superstar status, I don't think. I think he's kind of too far along in his career now. But in terms of embracing a role like this, I think it's perfect for him. I think being that third guy, or being that guy that they got to lean on when the other two guys don't come through for whatever reasons, injuries, bad game, whatever. In this case, it was injuries. He's perfect. He's perfect for it. He embraces the limelight. He does it. He does it under the bright lights of LA, which I think is something that a lot of people don't realize how difficult it is to take your game to another level in this city. There's just so much attention, so much pressure, and with social media, it's just gone to another level. Dwight Howard couldn't do it when he first got here. He had to adjust to a much lesser role in order to be successful here. And he was eventually, but
Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. See ebaymotors.com.
when he was counted on to be kind of that second guy next to Kobe, it's just didn't work at all. He didn't have the mentality for it. Whereas D'Lo has learned his lessons, come back, and he's proving himself. And I am blown away by it. I mean, he's averaging what 18.1 points, 6.2 assists. I mean, that's not going to blow you away, but that's great. That's all they need from him. 47.2 from the field, 42.4 from three, which is the top of the team. Number one 3-point shooter. And he's one of three guys on the team shooting 80% or better from the free throw line. The other two being Reeves, which is 86, which I was impressed by. I was like, I didn't realize he was shooting that well from there. AD at 81.6, which that's another thing I was impressed by. I didn't realize AD had improved that much from the free throw line. And D'Lo at 80.5. Awesome, right? I mean, the stats cross border, great. And I think if the Lakers want to be, well, not want to, because obviously they want to be successful, but if they desire to take this season to the limit and go as far as they possibly can, this kid has to continue playing like this. They got to continue leaning on him, probably even more so in the coming games, because that schedule, like I've said on every pod, it's just brutal. And they're hanging. They have bad losses like they did against Sacramento, which was awful. It was really bad. When it started out really well, I think they had a 19-point lead and just got wiped with Malik Monk going insane, and then De'Aaron Fox dropping 44. But I mean, you get this production out of D'Lo, and it seems like when D'Lo plays like this, he inspires the rest of the squad. Everybody else starts stepping up. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I don't know if it's like they look at a guy and they see someone of an equal, right, or someone who's not a superstar, and he's playing like one, and they're like, well, he can do it, I can do it, And you see Rui playing better, you see Reeves playing a little bit better, Spencer getting inspired. It's just contagious, and I think it's something that they got to carry over, especially with the gauntlet that they're facing, like Minnesota next on Sunday, at Sac, Golden State Warriors. Atlanta, which, I mean, that's whatever. Philly, Indy, at Milwaukee, at Memphis, which is whatever, and at Indy again, or for the first and the last time. That's rough, man. That's rough. It doesn't get harder than that, really. But they split those games, and they're in a good spot. I mean, they have just as a result of the last win, they've gone ahead of Golden State to be at number 9. I mean, the ultimate goal is to get to number 6, right? Because then you avoid the play-in tournament altogether. And the play-in tournament is going to be rough this year because every team in there is going to be fairly good. I think as of right now, the play-in tournament would be Sacramento, Dallas, Lakers, and Golden State. Those are all great teams. And I could see any combination of those teams going forward, right? That's, I mean, just when the postseason itself starts, it's just gonna be insane. It's gonna be fun for us basketball fans because it's gonna be great basketball being played, but it's truly gonna test these teams. Well, I didn't realize OKC jumped ahead of Minnesota now for number 1. But the Lakers aren't far back from these teams. They're one game back of Dallas, and I think a lot of these teams are actually playing tonight. Like I know Dallas is playing for sure. They're 2.5 back of Sac for 7, and 3 games back of Phoenix for 6. And I think Phoenix is playing tonight too. So I mean, it's going to change every day anyway, right? But these are attainable goals if they can just go on a run here. And what we've seen, I mean, I if I'm going to class this team as one thing, if I could define this team, it's Jekyll and Hyde, right? You don't know what the hell you're getting from night to night. And at this point in the season, you don't know who's going to be on the floor from night to night. Like LeBron taking that game off because of his ankle. And then AD getting his shoulder banged up. I mean, I think he said at the end of the game he couldn't even move his shoulder, which is obviously not a great thing moving forward. But I think I just tweeted out not that long ago that I think he's questionable. Yeah, left shoulder soreness. He's questionable for tomorrow. LeBron's questionable for tomorrow. So I wouldn't be shocked to see one of these guys out. Probably AD. Which sucks because you are facing a formidable opponent in Minnesota who were probably pissed off that they dropped to number 2. So they might be looking, for a little bit of revenge to get back to number 1. But it's not out of the realm possibility to get to 6. It's just not. They've got 17 games left. It could happen. Obviously they got to be consistent. I'm curious to hear about Gabe Vincent and Vando. They get even one of those guys back. I mean, Vando more than Vincent, but that makes them a better basketball team. Makes more well-rounded basketball team. They get both back, and they got more depth in the backcourt, and they got second best defender on the floor, which should put a little fear in teams. As long as these guys are 100% and ready to go, which is always a question mark. I mean, especially with Gabe Vincent, when he came back, I think his knee flared up after 1 game or 2 games, and he was back on the shelf. So I don't know about him, but this is trending up. As I think I said that on the last pod too. It's trending up, and I'm kind of excited to see where it's going to go. I mean, I love this redemption story with D'Lo. I just seeing him, flame out the way he did early in his career. And I was not a fan. I was like, dude, get this kid out of here. I was all for them trading him. I thought I was relieved. So it's like, you don't want to hang on this guy too long, and then his value just plummets, right? And then they did a great job getting great veteran center with Lopez, who that's one dude I was really impressed with at practices. I mean, this is totally off subject here, but I just want to say it because I don't think I've said it on the pod yet. That dude was relentless in practice. Like when we were waiting for availability, that guy's still shooting free throws and 3-pointers and just going at it. I was really impressed by that. I mean, I think I got some footage somewhere on my phone, but I was like, damn, this guy's he wants it, And that's why I was bummed that they didn't sign him. Was it this summer? Yeah, I think it was this summer. I was like, yeah, bring him back, man. But anyway, headed in the right direction. If they can just get through this damn schedule and get some quality wins while not playing down to the competition, not playing down to Atlanta, not playing down to Memphis, or even Golden State at this point, because I think Curry sprained his ankle recently, so I don't know what his status is going to be for that game. And that game is this week, I believe. We got Minnesota on Sunday, and then the Kings, and then the Warriors on the 16th. What day is the 16th? I think it's a Saturday. Yeah. 16th is a week from today because I'm recording on Saturday, March 9th. But beat those teams that you should beat, and then steal some wins from teams that are, high up there, just like they did with the Bucks. Do it again. It's gonna be tough on the road, but do it again. It's gonna be tough in Sacktown, but get some revenge for that last game. Kings can't guard anybody, so there's a chance there that they can come out on top. But I mean, hopefully they'll have full strength outside of the question marks in Vincent and Vando for that game. But if they don't, they still should beat them. Just contain Fox, contain Monk, and force these guys, to beat you. The Lakers are, I don't know. I say they're probably a better team, more well-rounded team than Sacramento. Sacramento might be a little bit more, younger and talented, but Lakers definitely have the star power in that matchup. But so Paul positive. Keep rolling, D'Lo. Impressive, dude. So happy for you. I think that's this. Coming back and doing what you're doing is no one saw it coming. I mean, everybody kind of cringed when that trade happened. We're like, oh, we're bringing this guy back, but he's really, really turning some heads this time around, and I'm impressed. I'm sure the majority of Lakers Nation, if not all, are impressed, and they want you around. Prove your worth, because especially when the big guys go down, you're number one. You and Austin, you got to lead them. So keep doing what you're doing, man. Until next time, probably after the Minnesota game and in between Sac, I'll get back on here, and hopefully it's more good news. All right. Peace.
Thank you for listening to Believe. You can show support to your host by subscribing to the show and giving us a 5-star rating on your preferred platform. Check us out at Believe.com and search for BLEAV on YouTube.
When you're listening to a true crime story that has an unbelievable plot twist that makes you stop in your tracks? That's what our podcast, People Are the Worst, brings you with each episode. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Rebecca. We're identical twins who love true crime cases that make you say, didn't see that coming, and we hate the people responsible for them. Listen to People Are the Worst now on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.